All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And I am all blurry, so how do I... There we go. Now I'm less blurry. All right, we're going to get this updated and edited. Our first featured match here at the Endor Grand Prix. Let's get these player names up and going. All right, we've got Matt Wadden. He's playing light side. He's at the top of the screen. He started a Jakku with a careful planning for Ray's site there, the Ray's encampment. And he's playing against Chris Wirfs. Chris will be playing dark side, and he started Endor operations with 3 effects start using I Am Your Father, Establish Control, and I think Combat Response is the 3rd card that we can't see. Right now they're just getting shuffled up, and then we'll get started here. We have 28 players at the Endor Grand Prix this year. It's pretty similar numbers to what we had last year. I think they had just over 30 last year, so it's good. Some familiar faces returning, and some new faces coming to the event for the first time. There's actually a couple guys here at their first major event, which is always great to see. Each new tournament getting more people out and playing, and new faces in the community. People who've played online, people who've been playing kitchen table games, who are ready to step up and take their game to the next level. So I'm just going to do a quick check with the audio, try and listen to the stream itself, and so I can figure out if I'm talking loud enough and all that good stuff. Looks like we're good. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
If you guys can just move your starting effects, just slide them a little more narrow, because I can see to about establish control, and I can't see any Matt's effects. All right, so the audio's a little low, so let's see what we got going on here that we can try and turn that up. Maybe if I turn it this way, maybe that'll work better. All right, there we go now. Had the players move some cards around, so now we can see the combat response of Chris Wirfs. They're getting a quick little flash of their hand, which is also cool here. Got a Point Man, Emperor, looks like some matching stuff. Jedi Council Chamber, a couple EPP Qui-Gons. So it's going to be a very interactive deck. Lots of battling. Matt's 3 effects that he started. I must be allowed to speak virtual, Wackling virtual, and battle plan, and draw first strike, or draw their fire, sorry. things that we saw yesterday during the team event and during some of the pickup games was the strength of the Endor Ops dark side deck, um, particularly against Diplo. The new Boba Fett having the first turn, you get enough force against Diplo, you can, combat response for the new Boba Fett and Slave 1, and use Endor Shield with the objective to pull Ozzel into hand, battle, use Boba Fett's game text to take an interrupt from reserve deck to get Imperial Command to play with Ozzel to add another Battle Destiny, and you're power 7, 8, 9, and 3 Battle Destiny against the Tantiv's power 5 and the droid's only covering 7, and typically it's either causing a bunch of additional battle damage or clearing the Tantive, and really dictating the game from there. If you draw high enough, I mean, you can definitely do some damage there. It's hard to do too much overflow because they'll cover 14 and 5, 19, but 3 Destiny, if you draw a couple 5s, it could go really well. So Chris took his first turn, didn't do too much. He pulled Endor Shield. He pulled Fondor with established control. Matt's going to activate. He's going to deploy, launching the Assault and the Jedi Council Chamber, which we saw in his hand. And he's going to draw a few more cards now. Matt's probably not going to set up too much in this deck. He's probably just going to continue to just attack and try and disrupt what Chris Wirfs is doing. He's going to use launching the Assault and take. No, he's not going to take Homeland just yet. He might be afraid if he's got too many cards in his hand. I think he's over 12, so he might be afraid of the Monarch. So he's just going to use the Wisagata Grand Army to get the Boss Nash Chamber from his reserve deck. Maybe I just have to sit right up on the damn thing. Which we can do. I can sit this close. For 12 hours. See if we can try and get the audio fixed to make it a little better for future games if this doesn't help. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get Chris to, or I can move the camera a little bit so we can see Chris's reserve deck and his force pile. While he looks like he's going to match up for Baron Soontir Fell, so hold that thought. Oh, and that put a glare on the middle of the board. Fuck. Alright, so Chris deployed some stuff last turn. He deployed, looks like Baron and Suntir fell and Saber 1, and Zuckus the Mist Hunter to Endor. And then drew a couple cards. Matt's going to deploy Qui-Gon with Lightsaber to the Endor docking bay. I apologize for the glare. We'll try and get that fixed as well. He's going to draw a couple cards here. Right now, Chris Wirfs is getting out-activated quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to pay to force drain or not. Probably not. Probably not yet. And with only the one battleground site on the table, Matt's not deploying any other battlegrounds that he's got. If he's got a Boss Nash Chamber, he already pulled that. But if he has like a Naboo Battle Planes, or if he's got the farm, more likely, the Tatooine Large Moisture Farm. But Chris did pay to drain. I guess he wants to kind of get this game moving along. And Matt throws away a Speak with the Jedi Council, which he no longer needs since the Jedi Council chamber is already in play, and a Lando Scoundrel. He probably has two. Well, that might actually have been top decked. I apologize. Still playing with audio controls and not watching the game. Matt's going to play a Rebel Leadership, probably looking for Admiral Akbar, and there's Admiral Akbar, and Chris is going to grab it. That's a smart grab. People always often wonder which cards to grab in matchups. You typically want to grab the card you think is going to hurt you the most is the card that you tend to want to use your grabber on. In this particular matchup, Chris is running a very space-heavy deck. He knows that he's already seen the launch and the assault, so he knows that the home one's coming out, and there's Admiral Akbar. The best way for him to clear that when it finally does get deployed is going to be through multiple Battle Destinies, and so grabbing Rebel Leadership should help him really limit Matt's ability to limit him to just one Battle Destiny. And Matt does deploy the home one. Looks like also with Poe Dameron aboard. So that's going to be 12, 15 power and 3 Battle Destiny, immune to less than 10. He's got enough ability to get around Zuckus the Mist Hunter. So that's going to be pretty tough to deal with. And with launching the assault, he's going to get a force drain bonus there. So now he's got his own drain of 2. Which he will not have to pay for because Qui-Gon's holding the docking bay to get around a battle plan. As we see Matt thumb through his hand there a little bit, caught a glimpse of a Clash of Sabers. Looks like he's saved a few force there. He's also got a Leia Rebel Princess and a couple other EPPs, so he's pretty solid on the ground, even if Qui-Gon doesn't. And now thanks for Matt for revealing and confirming for me that is Poe, which is what we thought it was. So he's all good there. Still getting feedback that the audio quality is pretty low. I'm looking to see what I can do here that might improve that a little bit. Matt's going to lose a Dash and Rogue 10 to a 4-string, which Chris again pays 3 for. And sorry, I missed the first card that went off the top, but I'm sure you guys all saw it. Now Chris is just going to draw a few more cards. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, there goes a Black Sun Fleet out of Chris's deck. Not sure what the card before it was. His piles are still a little off. Something else we'll have to adjust with the camera moving into game 2. That should also help with the glare issue that we're getting on it right now. So this is game number 1, as I said, of the tournament. Some other interesting matchups we had in the first round. I know we have Steve Harpster's paired up, I think, with Kyle Kruger, two local area players. Both have competed and had great finishes in major events. We also have Greg Shaw paired up against Matt Sokol in game 1. So there were certainly some different options for possibilities for what to use for featured matches, but you know, Chris Wirfs was one of the event organizers here, kind of got us off and running, and both years with this event. And Matt Wadden did make the finals of the Texas Mini Worlds this year, back in October, and so we felt like this was a good featured match to start with, and at least felt like the decks might interact a little bit. Matt's going to pull a shield. He's going to pull the Goldenrod shield. That's what it looks like. Might be afraid of Chris using a Blizzard 4 to get a couple of multiple characters out to clear Qui-Gon from the docking bay. Blizzard 4 would be problematic for him because that'd be something that he wouldn't be able to use his lightsaber to swing at, and would have a character aboard who would cover the forfeit and attrition. Qui-Gon would die, and but looks like instead he's just going to use a Blizzard Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, Choke Vader as he's commonly referred to, and his matching lightsaber. Perhaps possibly using a force field or something, or to prevent Qui-Gon swing, or he might just hope that he misses. Chris is going to swing. That's going to hit. And with I Am Your Father out, it's going to cause a force loss. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He's not playing I Am Your Father. Instead, he's going to... Qui-Gon's going to swing. He's going to draw 2 5s. He's going to hit Vader. 5, and oh, there's Low Destiny, but I think there's a Jedi Lev in his hand, and there's the Jedi Lev to get Rey, to redraw that, and there's a 4. So this is essentially a wash. It's going to be, oh, he's got additional power from the system. So it looks like Matt will take a 3-card overflow in this battle, but he's really just more concerned about clearing Qui-Gon here, and Qui-Gon's going to go right back to his hand with the Jedi Resilience, and then he's going to lose 1, 2, and there should be a 3rd card. There goes another leadership. Inconsequential losses. Chris is going to play Point Man. Put a card from hand on the bottom of his used pile to go look through the remaining cards in his force pile and pick the best one. That'll definitely help him out, not so he doesn't have to draw through everything, or so at least so he knows what's in there in case he does want to draw through everything. But he's going to leave a couple, so I guess he found the card he really wanted and is leaving the other ones behind. Matt's activated most of his deck, actually just about all of it at this point. He's got a very large hand, so it's not surprising there. He's going to pay to drain. Chris is going to lose 2 cards off the top. One of them is a ship. I apologize, folks. We don't have Chris's lost pile in better view, so we can see better. Matt's going to add another character to the home one. It looks like a 3PO with his parts showing. He's going to drop a card using 3PO's text, draw the remaining card from his reserve deck, and he's going to redeploy Qui-Gon. Matt's got 7 force left, which is enough. He's going to play the Large Moisture Farm, which is going to be out of view. And he's going to put a character over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably an EPP Luke. He paid 5 for, and now he's using I Must Be Allowed to Speak to get a card from his used pile. So, can't think of how to say Luke, or I don't think, or possibly Chewie would be the only other character he could have deployed over there. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that that was EPP Luke. He went and took a card from his used pile. Chris is going to pull a defensive shield and get secret plans out. Chris is probably going to have trouble holding a ground site against Matt's ground. He's got multiple EPP characters. We've already seen Resilience. He probably has 2 to 3 of those in his deck. So he's just going to keep looping those guys over and over again. Would make sense with a card like Battle Order, Draw Their Fire in play, that he would run multiple of each EPP. There's probably a couple of Obies in there as well. So Chris Wirfs' Dark Side deck is a little bit more space heavy, trying to do some more damage and things like that with the systems. But with the stacked home one and almost never-ending loop of EPP characters, it's going to be challenging for him to not pay to force drain all game, and that's going to start adding up, especially because he's getting out-activated. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's only activating 8 force right now for himself. 8 or 9. Yeah, 1 for him. He's only getting 8 force unless he's got other locations that we can't see off the side. Trying to look through his deck list real quick and see if he's running any 2-0s that maybe we just don't see. There's a Blockade Flagship Bridge in his deck, and we've a couple of Accelerates. So there's a pretty good chance there that one of those might be off to the side, and you might actually be getting 10. But even getting 10 force a turn, not going to work out so well for him. Chris does go ahead and pay 3 to force drain again. Matt's going to use a Wiesa got a Grand Army is what he's using there. Looks through his deck. There's no location. Wouldn't expect him to play the Naboo Battle Planes in a deck like this. Just use the large moisture farm as his, cause since he can pull it from the beginning as his battleground site. He's really just trying to put the 5 back in a position where he can cycle and track it around. And you see he leaves it right there on top. For those of you wondering how to track cards, that's a good way to do it. You play an interrupt or 2 at the end of your opponent's turn, and then you activate down to it. When you're activating 14 or 15 force a game, and the game is kind of progressing to the middle of the game, you can do that a lot more consistently. He also has 3PO with his parts out, which is helping him too, because he can actually put 2, he can play a card with 3PO, put it on the bottom of his used pile, and then play a used interrupt like Wiesa got a Grand Armory. So now he's got 2 cards together. So now he knows if he is using a weapon, what both destinies may be, or at least that he's going to draw something and a 5, and then draw something else on top of that. Whatever cards he's putting back. Matt's going to use 3PO with his parts again, cycle another card. He had 2 cards in his used pile last turn, so we can safely assume that that card sitting on top is a 5, and it's the Wiesa got a Grand Army. The question is how is he going to take advantage of it? Is he going to play something like an on the edge to retrieve some force, or is he going to deploy a couple cards and go battle somewhere? Chris has a nice little pile of guys at Endor. Oh, that's going to be a Falcon, the new Falcon Virtual. Tournament advocate Chris Schoenthal stopping by to say hi.
What's up, everybody?
See, he's actually here.
In the flesh.
And he's eating a donut.
Also eating a donut. Yeah, you should get some donuts after the round. They're great.
I think I might have to. They smell delicious. So the audio's a little low, but we'll try and work on fixing that. I don't know how, but we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do to fix that to get that a little louder for game 2. I'm just going to do some ship docking, move some people around. He's going to spread out, get a second system. And he's going to keep his force drain bonus because the new Falcon there is an episode 7 Falcon. Let's see if we can find that card for... Matt's going to use, Chris is going to use Black Sun Fleet. Looks like he's going to land Zuckuss the Misshunter. That'll get him around having to pay to drain this turn by doing that. Doing something with Grand Moff Tarkin getting in, getting out. What's the ruling?
I'm asking if I can get Tarkin out of the ship as part of the move coming down. Do you know the answer?
I'm pretty sure the answer to that is no.
It's pretty is what?
No,
Okay.
because you're moving the ship. You're not. It's
Well,
not.
like when you
It's,
react with vehicles and get in and
you
out.
can they can you can embark as part of a react, and you can disembark as part of a
Yeah.
when you end. But just landing, you can't. As using a regular move, you can't disembark.
Okay.
So, so the pause in the game here was Chris Wirfs was asking for a ruling. He was trying to use Black Sun Fleet. He's landing Zuckuss and Misthunter at the docking bay, and he wanted to know if Grand Moff Tarkin can get out of Zuckuss and Misthunter as part of that that movement. I'm fairly confident that the answer to that question is no. You can only disembark from a vehicle or something when it's moving as a react, and Black Sun Fleet is not a react. It's a regular move. So it's letting the ship make the regular move. The ship has done that and moved to the docking bay. Um, so Tarkin would have to remain aboard. And looks like they've agreed with my my assessment of the situation and are playing forward. Chris is going to deploy Blizzard 4 now to the docking bay 2. Look through his deck and see if he's got somebody he can pull. Looks like he doesn't have any eligible targets in there. But quite a few high destinies. Everything in there is, with the exception of that Boba Fett, everything in there looks like it's pretty much 4 or higher. I think I saw a Dr. E combo as well, who's only Destiny 3, but that's still going to be pretty good. He's got 8 power from the Blizzard 4, and getting at least 1 battle Destiny, possibly 2 with Tarkin, depending on if he can deploy anybody else. And again, that would help get rid of Qui-Gon, but as we can see through Matt's hand here, Matt's got a pile of characters in his hand. He's just going to keep redeploying to that docking bay. And here comes Choke Vader again for 6. And it looks like Chris is going to initiate battle there. I'm getting a text message from Scott Lingerl also about the audio quality. So it looks like Vader's at the bunker. He's not participating in the battle. Again, he's just trying to clear and occupy. So we're going to get Blizzard 4 is going to die. Qui-Gon's going to die. Vader's going to move over then. Tarkin's going to get out. And Zuckuss will be stuck there for now. They've moved some stuff around, tightened it up for us, so we can see that large moisture farm that was EPP Luke earlier, as we suspected. And he's camping out over there. And surprise, surprise, Matt's got another EPP Qui-Gon. We saw that earlier in the game that he had 2 in his opening hand, and he used the Jedi's Resilience to get one of them back after he was previously defeated in battle. And I'm don't think he's got. It looks like he has 3 cards left in his reserve deck, so he could certainly battle and swing and hit someone and clear, or he could just be content just to block the drain and occupy the site. And he's going to look for Yoda, and that's a pile of high destiny red cards. So he's got 4 cards left in his reserve deck. Possibly, again, fearing Chris having a card like Close Call that would make him redraw one of them. So he left himself 4. Very smart play there, particularly if you are worried about the Close Call and getting a Destiny redrawn, because he would draw 2 to swing and hit, and then if he drew the 3rd Destiny, Chris could make him redraw it. He wouldn't have any cards left in his reserve deck to do that, and the Destiny draw would just be a 0, and then one of Chris's characters would get the live. So he's going to leave 4 there. It's a solid veteran move. Trying to think ahead, think of the counters, think of the cards that are going to hurt him the most in this situation, and Close Call would be one of them. He's going to use Battle Plan to battle for free. He's going to swing. That's a 6 and a 5. Vader's hit. Forfeit 0. Chris will probably use Tarkin's game text to add a Battle Destiny with Vader. It looks like he tried to choke. Possibly just to move cards around. He seemed like he had a number of decent Destiny cards in there. So maybe he's just trying to hope he drew the Boba Fett for that and not for Battle Destiny. Looks like Matt might have been contemplating that clash, but instead he's just going to draw the 5. And Chris is going to draw 2 4s. So Chris is going to have 10, 18 to 19 to 11, but Qui-Gon covers 8, so he'll cover the difference. And Chris has to lose Vader, who was hit and forfeit 0, and Zuckuss and Mist Hunter to cover the 5 battle damage, or the 5 attrition. He's going to pay 2 now, and he's going to move over the home 1 to Endor to block that drain. With just Baron there, probably has a Rebel leadership in hand in case it would be more than 1 Destiny. Anyway, not too scary of a position for Matt. So he'll go ahead and block that Force drain. He'll use 3PO to put a card back. And then I'll put Walkling out of play and retrieve the character. Again, getting Qui-Gon back for the 4th time. And then at the start of his turn, he'll just put, at the start of Chris's turn, he'll just drop a card from hand to take that back into hand with 3PO. Matt looking through his defensive shields right now, seeing if anything will help. Let's see if changing the setting does anything useful. Getting 7 text messages now from Scott Wingrel as he's trying to troubleshoot this audio situation. During that interlude there, we saw an EPP Mall come down to the large moisture farm with a Phantom Menace out. He battled EPP Luke, but they both hit each other and cleared. And Chris is going to move Baron away. But Chris did accomplish kicking Matt off the ground for a turn. That would force Matt to have to pay to force drain his turn if he wanted to. Chris Chantal just announced there's 20 minutes left in the round. So I'll try and get some results here for you coming up soon. Qui-Gon with lightsabers coming down for the 4th time, I believe, this game, to that docking bay. Chris did move the bridge over as well, so we confirmed that he was activating 10 for the bridge. He's going to swing at Tarkin. Oh, he's swinging at Ozzel. Interesting, because he's got the Clash of Sabers in his hand. I don't know why he wasn't. Maybe he doesn't have 2 force left. I guess he doesn't have 2 force left. So he can swing at Tarkin, hit him, clash him out of the battle, and that would just leave Ozzel sitting there by himself. But yeah, and there's the close call. Oh, Chris is going to draw high with his destiny, so Matt doesn't have a battle destiny. And Chris drawing 13, he's going to have 20. That would be an overflow of about 7, but luckily Matt does have the Hujix to avoid taking that battle damage. It's a pretty close game at this point, so taking 7 overflow would have been pretty harsh. But the close call, well timed, as I alluded to earlier. Matt not having enough cards left in his reserve deck, and enough cards left in his force pile to play the Clash, allows Chris to keep a character in play. That'll allow him to force drain this turn without having to pay for it. He'll get 1 at the docking bay, and he'll get drain 1 at Fondor. I don't know if Chris is running Ominous Rumors. He certainly doesn't have it out. I think I saw it in his deck earlier, but I guess he's just opted not to play it, figuring maybe he'd rather have another card in his deck and a Destiny 5. His objective does pull it during the control phase, so but he may have thought that he wasn't going to be able to hold that docking bay long enough to actually make it worthwhile, so he's kept the card off the table and a 5 in his deck instead. Force drain is going to be a Dash and Rogue 10. Chris is going to deploy Darth Maul. So he's running both versions of Maul, Space Maul and Ground Maul. And he deploys a little cheaper 2 Tatooine, so that'll save him a little bit of force putting him over there at the large moisture farm. Like Matt's sitting at about 16 cards left down. He's going to leave 4 behind. Doesn't have Walkling out anymore, so he can't get the activation from that. So I think he's getting 13. He's going to pay 3, and he's going to force drain for 2 at Jakku. Chris is going to lose 2 cards that we can't see. That would be an Anakin Skywalker. He's playing the alternate image there. And that would be a Leia Rebel Princess. Leia comes down to the Tatooine site. He's going to use I Must Be Allowed to Speak to pull another card into hand. He's going to battle for free. They're both going to draw 5s. They're both going to die. No additional battle damage or overflow. And he battles with Anakin against Tarkin. Draws at 2 plus 1 from the system. He'll have 8 to 11, so everybody dies there as well. So 2 successful suicide runs there. We'll see if Matt opts to move over or not. Probably not. He probably doesn't need to at this point to move in front of Baron. Chris would have to pay 3 to just get a drain of 1 in. Not necessarily something you need to block. Chris is going to play a We Must Accelerate Our Plans to search his deck. He's going to take another copy of We Must Accelerate Our Plans out of his deck, but that's essentially going to let him set up a 5 Destiny draw somewhere. Or even just keep it on top, so if he deploys another character, when Matt comes to battle him, he's at least drawing a 5. Could be handy if it's another choke baiter coming down this turn, but Chris is looking at shields to play right now. Can't quite decide between. Could be a big coward, which wouldn't work because Matt's got 2 battlegrounds. Resistance, which doesn't really help because Matt's not draining for more than 2. I think he looks like he settles on firepower. That's going to be a Count Dooku going to the large moisture farm. Ooh, excuse me. Late night. I'm still on East Coast time. And that's a Mara Jade with lightsaber going to the docking bay. So Chris is trying to establish some ground presence again here late in the game to try and not have to pay to force drain, so he can actually cause some damage. Matt's going to activate 1 and use 3PO to get a card that he wants. And then he'll activate some more force there, leaving looks like 3 or 4 cards in his reserve deck. He's going to pay 3. He's going to drain for 2 at Jakku. Looks like Matt's showing an EPP OB. I guess he's possibly going to deploy, just trying to figure out where. He's going to look for Boss Nass. Hey, look, it's a pile of 5s and 6s. There's probably not too much left other than that in Matt's reserve deck at this point. He's used 3PO with this part showing pretty successfully to peel off most of the cards in his deck. Looks like Obi's going to deploy to the large moisture farm. He's going to battle for free. He's going to swing. That's going to hit Count Dooku, make him forfeit 0. And now he's going to use the Clash of Sabers to just remove him from the battle. That'll clear Dooku. a little let Obi stay. He probably wasn't going to get much overflow anyway, especially because we know Chris set up a 5 earlier. It's probably the 5 that was sitting on top. They both draw 5s, so there's really no additional overflow there. So that's a smart play by Matt to just get some board control to avoid having to pay to drain for a turn. And get a ground drain in or force Chris to come back and kill Obi-Wan this turn. Chris can't have too many characters left at this point. 2 Vaders have died. Tarkin's gone. We've already lost 2 Mauls, an EPP and a regular Maul. Dooku's gone already. The Emperor, if he's in the deck, can't deploy there. So, they're both getting low on force here. They're both down to under 15 cards. Looking at Chris's deck list real quick. I don't think he's got too many characters left. We did see that Boba Fett earlier floating around. We did see that Dr. E and Ponda Baba combo. Oh, he did have another Mara. I'm sorry. No, he didn't. That Mara was already on the table. Matt's going to go ahead and force drain here. He's going to get 2 at Jakku, 2 at Endor, and 1 at the Large Moisture Farm. 2000 World Champion Matt Sokol poking his head into the picture here, saying hi to everybody. Matt just finished his matchup with Greg Shaw. How'd that game go, Matt?
It went well for one of us.
Judging by his sarcasm, I'm going to say Greg Shaw won that game. Joey Bowcaster's going to go back up Obi-Wan there. The Large Moisture Farm. I think there's about 7 or 8 people watching right now. The audio is really low. We're going to have something I'm going to have to work on between games. I'm practically eating the microphone at this point, and people can still barely hear me. So something we'll work on. Chris is going to play a Dark Time, but it's going to get sensed by Matt. He's going to put another card back in his deck and do 1 more card that Chris loses. And Chris is going to go ahead and concede the matchup. Kind of running slim at this point, not much left that he could do. And Matt was definitely out-draining him in the drain race. So, nice game played by both players here. And Matt Wadden will pick up the win and move on to the next round. I'll try and get some results for you for the other game ones. There's only about 5 to 10 minutes left in the round, and hopefully we can get this audio situation cleared up for you. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to step away for a minute and see what we can do to fix the audio and video problems. Thanks for watching so far.
I think what it's doing is it's picking up the webcam. Here we go.
He asked me to tell you to post the stream link to the forums.
Okay.
Makes sense? Those words?
Okay, how's this? I don't know. I can't hear. This one should be the default device, but it's doesn't look like it's picking up anything. This is Samson.
Yeah, it's picking up down here because you obviously can hear us talking because
Yeah.
the green bar is moving a bit, but.
Peter dictates to his computer. He prefers it to typing and particularly prefers it to pen and paper. That wasn't very loud. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll see if that helps.
Yeah, see if that makes a difference. I don't know if it will or not, but
I appreciate it.
yeah. We can play around with it a little bit more.
So Jeremy just updated some settings, so we'll see if that improved our sound quality at all. Where's the regular sound? Those are turned up all the way. Make sure everything's up there.
Recording devices. Should be picking. Usually.
Yeah, looks like everything should be up as high as it can go. All right, Chris Jones, I'll just call time in game one. So we'll see if we'll get some results for you here in a minute. Hopefully our technical difficulties are improving. And then we'll just have to also want to mark off the playing surface for the players. So that way we can try and see more cards this game. Just posted a message in the chat room if anybody's listening so we can try and confirm if the audio is improved or not, since I can't actually hear myself. And I've also been asked to post a link to the stream in the forums. just updated and posted the link to the official PC page here. I do see the issue with the buffering quality a little bit too. Let me see if I can get our internet settings updated as well. See if that'll help.
Okay, so you ended the broadcast, right? Did you? Because you can like export the video
Oh, after each game?
after each game.
That I don't know how to do yet either. Right now it's just redid. So you want to stop streaming and stop recording?
Yeah, I think if you just stop recording, it should be good